All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Welcome back, everyone. This is the X Zone. My name is Rob McConnell, and we're coming to you from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, worldwide on the X Zone Broadcast Network and our still growing family of broadcast affiliates, including Turquoise Radio, Star Media, and the Sirius Satellite Network. 1-800-610-7035 is our toll-free number. Email xzone at xzoneradiotv.com, on MSN Messenger, MySpace, Facebook, and all the other social media sites, X Zone Radio TV, and our main site, www.xzoneradiotv.com. Here's a question for you, X Zone. Was Jesus part extraterrestrial? Well, my guest this hour is going to offer us proof from the Bible itself. Now, from the first time humans gazed into the night sky, they have wondered if something or someone lives beyond the moon and among the stars. In that vastness, are there other beings, and are they aware of it? Well, according to my guest this hour, Catherine Rozek, who found the answer to the question in a surprising place, the Bible. Studying the ancient text with a 21st century perspective, Jane determined that if God is from the heavens and not from earth, then God can actually be defined as extraterrestrial. Joining me now from her home in beautiful Kelowna, British Columbia, is Catherine Rozek. And Jane, welcome to the X Zone.
Thank you. Thank you, Rob.
Tell me about the spiritual awareness that you had that started you on this very fascinating quest.
I was one of the privileged few to be one of the last homesteaders in the wilderness of BC, central BC, and I really needed some power to exist and survive, protect my family. So I decided I would check into this Christianity business and started reading the Bible, but I read it without any church backing or church direction. So what I read really said a lot of different things than what I was raised as a Christian.
What did you find so different from your upbringing to now reading the Bible on your own without any assistance from an organized religious organization?
Well, the Bible talks a lot about strange creatures, angels, demons, the Son of God, supposedly, Jesus Christ, being not from this earth, from another world. That's what he claims to have said in the Bible. So you have to start thinking from an outer space source of information. The heavens, for example, I mean, you hear about, God's from heaven, Jesus Christ came down from heaven. Well, what does heaven mean? Heaven has to mean the outer space, because that's above us, right? So you start using the terms in the contemporary 21st century, and it gives you a whole different storyline to that best-selling book.
I agree with you in premise, but the existence of God, angels, or demons has yet to been validified or validated. So how can we take a speculation of existence to mean that these people, God, Jesus, were actually extraterrestrial? How do we get from fiction to fact?
Well, sometimes fiction seems to be more clearly received than fact. The Bible has a lot of people totally against it and totally not in believing anything, or that it's just fable. And yet, when we look at the terms, well, then we can. I mean, even when you say that heaven is out there above us, and that Jesus Christ came down to it, well, that makes it extraterrestrial by the very definition of the term. So heaven is another contemporary word for the outer space.
In theory. Because, once again, there is no proof that heaven exists. There is no proof that hell exists except the lifetime that we have here on this planet. Stand by. You and I have to take a commercial break. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Exonation, okay. My guest this hour is Catherine Rozek. She is in Kelowna, British Columbia. She's the author of The Celestial Proposal. And her website is www.thecelestialproposal.com. And we'll be back on the other side of this commercial break as we continue investigating the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here in the X Zone with yours truly, Rob McConnell. Check us out at www.xzoneradiotv.com, and you can always send me an email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. Don't go away. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Modern Esoteric, Beyond Our Senses by Brad Olson, consummates the lifeology story about where humanity originates. It is the lost continents, the primitive wisdom, the mythos of creation, and the rethinking of ancient history as we are taught in academia. There is much more to the story than what we have been told. As this is the first book in the Esoteric series, Modern Esoteric starts at the beginning of time and accelerates up to this modern age. Future Esoteric is book 2 in the series and takes a forward-looking position ahead of today with an open and honest examination of the ET issue and various unexplained phenomena. To discover the writings of author Brad Olson, visit www.bradolson.com. That's www.bradolson.com. Named one of the world's greatest psychics, Elizabeth Joyce is now giving readings worldwide via Skype. Elizabeth Joyce is recognized for her clairvoyant ability to help find missing persons, her analysis of dreams, past life regression work, mediumship, and her accurate predictions. Elizabeth has been a frequent guest on the X Zone radio show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, now for several years. For an appointment with Elizabeth Joyce, call 201-934-8986 or Skype at elizabeth.joyce. And for more information, you can always visit Elizabeth Joyce online at www.new-visions.com.
Do you have a dis-ease that you would like to alleviate through a natural means? Have you been contacted by angels, ghosts, or even extraterrestrials and want to validate these experiences? Or would you simply like to speak with someone who can help you find your life's purpose? I'm Dr. Joseph Mara, and I'm offering my services free of charge for first-time clients contacting me during the month of April. These free consultations include angel card readings, guided meditations, life coaching, and energy healing. If you have always wanted to explore these types of experiences but were skeptical or simply could not afford them, then take advantage of this free special offer. Contact me through my website, aguidinglight, spelled lite.com, to schedule your consultation today. Until then, I offer you love, light, and laughter.
Welcome back, everyone. The Celestial Proposal is an intriguing 21st century expose of ancient celestial plan for humans to become the cosmic god beings they were designed to be. Now, my guest this hour is the author of the book, Catherine Rozek, and she strips away the trite religious terminology to put forward a stunning new way to answer the basic question of life. Who are we, and what are we doing on this planet? Her website is www.thecelestialproposal.com. Now, when we take the Bible, that was written so many years ago, it's been translated so many times, how do we know that we're not just looking at a group of writings that people who had no knowledge of science, physics, astronomy, or any of the other established sciences wrote something to try and figure out what life was all about?
If you take the Bible as a book,
Mm-hmm.
you can decipher it into main characters, antagonists, protagonists, a storyline even. And the Old Testament would be maybe book 1 in the series, and the New Testament would be book 2. So I believe that we are living in book 3, where the main gist of the story, and bear with me with this, because even if you don't believe in Christianity or have any higher power source in your own life, if you look back in history and you see that that all these men who wrote the Bible over a long period of time, they're all recording something that's very unique in their life, and they're recording it because they have seen something spectacular, something supernatural.
Or something they just couldn't understand.
Or something they couldn't understand and tried to explain it to themselves. So if you take all those books of this in the series, you can see a storyline. And what the storyline portrays is that a set of beings, angels, God, somebody who wanted to intervene, to set up an intervention for human species on our planet, they have had purpose in, first of all, in designing us, and second of all, into coming back on the human timeline to set up a series of mentoring events. What are they mentoring for us? They're mentoring, or they're trying to instill some type of, believe it or not, government or a set of moral laws, and that's very prevalent in the Old Testament.
How do we know which holy book is right, and how do we decipher that? Well, let's use the Bible for this hour. How do we know that the Bible is real, that it's nothing more than a science fiction book written by some very creative people?
Well, yes, you can. The wonderful thing is we get to choose what we want to believe, and if you have a philosophy that works for you, I'm all for it, because my purpose in writing this book is to help people find a reason to live, and then design a game plan to live your life so you do have abundance, so you do have some kind of purpose and happiness in your own life. So I believe that this was set out for us, and and it evolves. It's the whole Bible kind of portrays a plan for a spiritual evolution for our race.
So who is God? Where does God come from? And why hasn't he come back?
Well, those are some very, very good questions. Do you believe in a higher power?
I believe in myself.
So if you believe in any kind of a higher power, then you can call it by many names, right? Because there's lots of world religions, and they all have their good points.
And a lot of them have their bad points. For example, in the Bible, you've got a very vengeful, mean God in the first part of it in the Old Testament. You've got a God who says, "Thou shalt not kill." And yet, he kills Egyptians. He destroys the city of Sodom and Gomorrah. He floods the earth, killing all creatures except 2 of each, Noah and his family. And this is right. I'm a father.